This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. Follow Daniel at dstarsick on Twitter. Follow Ryan at Darth Damio on the Bluebird app. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/The Horror of Babylon. And finally, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Podcast Addict, TuneIn and the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome to the Horror of Babylon, where we are doing a very special bonus episode celebrating 1 year of the Horror of Babylon. I'm Ryan, and with me, as always, is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
So, I don't even know what to say. Did you think we were going to make it a full year?
I honestly, I thought one of two things was going to happen. We would do this like 10 times, get a little bored and peter out, or it would just be the only hobby I had. And now it's just one of my many hobbies. So.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But we've managed to strike a balance where it's doable.
Yeah.
I was worried, because originally we started doing it every 2 weeks, and at some point we moved to weekly, and I was worried we weren't going to be able to keep up with weekly, but it's fine, and we're usually like 3 to 4 weeks ahead in terms of recording, so... Yeah,
it's been pretty... We've been doing all the work, and by we, I mean mostly you.
Well, that's not... The majority of the work outside of recording involves a computer.
Yeah.
And you don't own a computer.
Yeah, I'm like the one dude who doesn't own a computer.
I would delegate some of this stuff to you and make you learn some of this stuff if you had a computer, but you don't, so I do it.
I finally have the budget for one now, though, so maybe next year we're going to start, we'll divvy it up.
And we've talked a little bit on the original first episode, and we talked a little bit about it on the It versus Phantoms episode, but I felt like for a 1 year anniversary episode, it was appropriate to talk about the origins of the podcast a little bit.
Yeah.
So what were some of your motivations?
My biggest motivation was I needed additional creative outlets. I'd been working on my book for a while, but I needed something to help keep me motivated towards it. And since I'm working on, writing thrillers and horror, I was like, well, I love all these horror YouTubers, but I really don't want to do YouTube videos because A, it's super competitive, and B, I don't have a camera or a computer. So what's the backup option to that? Podcasting.
Podcast. The lazy man's YouTube.
And I was sitting around thinking like, well, God, I know that people in our Discord really like horror too, or they like some of this stuff, so I was just like, hey, let's see if we can get anyone on board. I knew that you had been looking to do a podcast on something. I was like, let's see what happens.
We talked about it and talked about it and talked about it.
And then we found affordable mics, and we're like, are we going to pull the trigger?
Having done almost a full year's worth of podcasting, so peek behind the curtain, we're recording this on October 18th. So we're just a little bit shy of our 1 year anniversary. But basically having a year's worth of podcasting under your belt, looking back on the past year, what do you think you would have liked to see us do different or do better?
I would have liked... the biggest thing would be knowing how to have our volume okay on the first few episodes.
Yeah, that first episode is rough.
That was the first thing people told us was, we're listening on max volume, and we can't.
We knew when we recorded that episode the sound wasn't good, but we had to do it or else it
was never going to happen.
Yeah.
I even think that if we would have said, let's do it another night, like re-record, it wouldn't have happened.
It probably wouldn't have happened. Yeah, it's like, hey, we should get coffee sometime.
It's the same thing like about writing. You got to get something on the page.
And actually, I think I can I can actually take that original couple episodes and I can amp the sound on it and re-release them, which I've been thinking about doing at some point.
I mean, we could do that as like part of our anniversary bonus.
Yeah, I might do that.
And another peek behind the curtain. Ryan's the one who pretty much came up with the structures for our episodes. Our first ones were a little bit rougher. They weren't they're not bad in terms of the structure. But Ryan really got them super organized as we went along. I would have liked him to,
do that
go
earlier.
Back in time, do a little bit earlier. Also, not just stand back to back.
Yeah, I think a couple important lessons. One, if we're doing a big project like The Stand, or Dracula, you should break it up with some smaller things, so it's not constantly just the one topic.
You get a little sick of it.
Yeah.
People might get a little sick of it.
And also, we don't have to review every single adaptation there is of something.
Yeah. Which was our original intent.
Yeah. It's fine for The Stand when there's really only like 3 adaptations, or Firestarter, there's only a couple.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Start getting something like Dracula.
Yeah, there's no way... That would be the entire podcast.
That would be the year.
Yeah.
The year of Dracula.
The year of Dracula. For like... there's a ton of adaptations of Carmilla, and we didn't review any of them.
Yeah. I think, why didn't we review any of them? Did we just think that none of them were like big or mainstream enough? I can't even. I know we talked about.
There's not like we looked through a list of them, and
but there's not like
the
adaptation,
and none of them like really jumped out at us, and we could come back to it too.
Sometime,
yeah, and even like still learning that lesson, because going back and editing all those Mermaid Saga episodes is like, we really didn't have to do all of these. In our defense, though, that was Salem's Lot was partially to blame.
Yeah, we had big Salem's Lot plans. Dude, I have 20 pages of notes on Salem's Lot.
Good.
I was like, oh, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to have so many points.
Yeah. If they push it back to like 2024, I'd say we say fuck it and do the book anyway.
Yeah. We're just going to do the book anyway, and then we'll just do bonus episodes or episodes when the movie's released.
Exactly. So, yeah, those are the things, those lessons I wish we had learned a little bit earlier. Also, I kind of wish we had gotten more people. I love all the guests we've had. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish we would have tried to reach out and get even more people to get a little bit more varied viewpoints.
I would like more people sooner.
We tend to... We don't agree on everything, obviously, but we agree on a lot of stuff, particularly when it comes to books.
I think it's like a 90-10 split on books.
Yeah. And also, we both hail from mostly the same...
backgrounds.
Yeah. White, lower middle-ish class, and male, mostly straight.
It's like what does Daniel have? A little bit of bisexuality, and that's it.
And...
So...
Outside, the only thing we really differ on is politics, but we're both like very accepting of the other side. Like,
yeah,
I'm a little left, you're a little right, but I'm not against hanging out with the right, and you're not against hanging out with the left.
I think it's mostly because you're a little bit left and I'm a little bit right. So
yeah.
So, but I do agree that that's not too varied.
No,
I just like, because we keep coming across things in these books where we go, man, I really like someone else's viewpoint because I don't know what to say about this.
Yeah, and I every time I'm editing and we're having a conversation about, like, this is a depiction of women that isn't great, I'm like, God, we could just not choose books like this. But I'm like, but all the good books have controversial crap in them.
Yeah.
Think about all the controversial stuff and like it and the...
I still maintain that books that try to sanitize themselves too much do detriments to the art anyway, so... Yeah.
And imagine if we would have said, like, now let's not cover The Only Good Indians because we're two white guys and it's about indigenous people. But we would have deprived ourselves of such an awesome book.
And the author liked our tweet.
he retweeted us and we got like 50 likes.
I save every time like someone we should have written down everyone famous that's liked or retweeted us.
Stephen Graham Jones and Kevin Smith.
Junji Ito.
Junji Ito liked, I think, 2 of our tweets. Mm-hmm. And Alma Katsu, the author of The Hunger, she liked a mini review I put up on Twitter.
I know that these aren't like stellar things, like people on Twitter like everything. But at the same time, that's a big deal to us.
Yeah, I mean, Junji Ito is...
On my personal Twitter, I got like Puppet Combo to retweet, and like they do indie games, and I got like 150 something likes, and that's a lot to Daniel.
Yeah, that's a lot of those.
I did a mini review of an adaptation of one of the Puppet Combo games. Like they put out books, and the author followed me. I was just like, that's cool. To me, that's nice. Cool. To me, that's an accolade. I'll take that. I'll take the W.
2-part question for season 2. At this point, we've only recorded 1 episode of season 2. What are you most looking forward to in season 2, and what are some goals that you have for season 2?
One of the things I'm looking forward to is how varied our list is. We were a little Stephen King heavy in season 1, and that's fine because a lot of his books are just that important in terms of horror literature.
And you could easily just do a whole podcast that's
And there's a lot of them that are out there, some really good ones.
Yep.
Losers Club, listen to them.
Yeah, I like the Losers Club. And that's, shout out to them, that's where I got basically our structure of our podcast is inspired by their structure with the different sections and the movie clips.
And it works.
Yeah.
I listen to I only listen to like 3 or 4 podcasts. It's not like I'm more of a YouTube guy. But the sort of YouTube I listen to is also structured like a podcast, like it's long form stuff.
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
But I'm really looking forward to because we're getting, Clive Barker.
Yep.
We're getting Koji Suzuki.
Yep. Mary Shelley.
So it's going to be a little bit more varied. I'm looking forward to that. I'm trying to get some more guest perspectives. I'm sure Ryan is too.
No, I don't know anybody.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get people invited on.
I know you and Hef, the people in our Discord, and the people I work with, and I'm not talking to people at work.
People, because I keep running into coworkers or friends that go, "Oh, I listen to your podcast now. Would have loved to have chimed in here." And I was like, "Come on, we'll call you on Discord."
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to come to the house. We can call them on Discord or Facebook. And also, we should have your friend who writes erotic horror fiction.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bonus episode, just an interview of her.
Remy. I would really love to have her on.
We can also read one of her books. I'm totally okay with that.
I gave 2 of my coworkers her book, Mothman to a Flame, as presents.
I'll read that.
And my idea was to have them both read it, for us to read it, to invite these 2 women on who, if they love erotic fiction, that's their favorite, genre.
And I am not an erotic fiction person, not because I don't like it, just because I just don't have time to read a lot of it.
We do a bonus episode just interviewing her.
Yes, 100%.
But I have to actually get them to read it.
Well,
they seemed excited to read it, but they keep getting sidetracked with other books.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
I have that issue too.
But I'd also be more than willing to throw money at Remy again to buy 2 more copies because she's independently published. She works very hard.
If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read like Mothman to a Flame by Remy Kavalich for free. So, do that.
And if we get that organized, I'm going to buy 2 more paperbacks for me and Ryan.
Sure.
Daniel's treats. But even if we don't read it, I want to interview her.
Lessons in lycanthropy.
Oh, yeah. No, look at her. She puts herself out there. I'm very proud of her. I wish I had this amount of hustle for my own writing.
Direwolf Dilemma. Hibernation Station. It's like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would read one or 2 of these. The Thirst. Okay. All right. And any other goals for season 2?
I do have one goal, but this one's sort of personally self-motivated.
Okay.
I have 5 pages left to edit of my own book. If I get it big boy published, which is what I call actual publishing and not self-publishing, I am going to have everyone else on the podcast read and review it honestly.
Okay.
And that is one of my goals. Even if it hurts to hear, that's my goal.
I would like to do more in-person events.
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially interviews.
Yeah. And I actually have a list of people that I need to message on Twitter about interviews, and I just haven't done any of them. But also just going to conventions and doing street content at conventions and being...
I would really like to do I wish we would have thought ahead or had a camera or something so we could have done street interviews at Mothman Festival.
I intended on doing crap like that with my phone and just didn't do it.
Going on the day we did when there was 30,000 people in a town that usually seats 5,000.
And it was super hot.
I really want us to get a hotel for at least a day next year.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. Real quick, do they have a date? Mothman Festival 20.
Because if we can get in on the ground floor on that haunted hotel.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they announce a date, I'm going to call and get a room. It doesn't seem like there's a date for next year yet.
Okay. But we'll...
Maybe because the city is like, we're not fucking doing that again. Yeah, but more live events. More, I also agree, and our rough draft of next year reflects it. More different authors, not just Stephen King, but also, not just old white guys, just different people.
And I normally I'm the guy who says I don't care about what the race or sex of a person who wrote a book is, as long as it's good. But after reading The Only Good Indians and getting something that was so different from a cultural perspective,
yeah,
I'm like, that was just really cool to read, even if I don't get all of it.
Yeah. Think about even something like Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that could have been written by a man.
I'll never know that. I didn't even know that her husband was also an author, because that's how much she overshadows him now.
Yep.
Which is cool to me.
They, her and her husband and their friends, they used to have writing parties.
Yeah.
Where they would sit around and write short stories and then read them to each other and compare them.
Yeah, and that's just super cool.
Yeah. We're gonna do at least we're doing Frankenstein in December, and we're gonna do, I think we have 3 adaptations we're gonna cover.
Yeah. And don't worry, guys, we still have some old white guys.
We got plenty of old, and there will be more Stephen King.
They don't lose their spot. We're just trying to check some other stuff out.
Yeah. We've got more than one Stephen King book planned for season 2.
Oh, man.
And we have a Dean Koontz book coming up as well.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up pretty soon, ain't it?
Yeah, I need to reread that.
It's only a couple hours on...
No, it's short.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to our awards.
Yay!
And I've been thinking of a name for these, but the best I could think of was the Hories.
I love it. Can we call them the Hories?
Sure.
Everybody, welcome to the Hories.
I lost my phone that has the winners on it. All right, so we'll do the categories, and we'll read out the nominations, and then I'll do the winners. Daniel doesn't know who the winners are.
I do not.
These were voted on by Daniel, myself, and Hef, because he's been on so many episodes.
Yeah. He's also reading the stuff that we've already read.
Yeah, he's trying to do a full read through of everything.
A full catch up. He's dedicated. I love it.
And the way this worked is I said, okay, this is the category. These are the nominations. You have 5 votes, and you can split those 5 votes up. You don't have to put them all on 5 different things or one thing. All right. So let me pull the winners up on my phone. Okay. The first category is Book of the Year. The nominations are The Stand by Stephen King.
That's a biggie.
Phantoms by Dean Koontz. It by Stephen King. The Mist by Stephen King. Firestarter by Stephen King. The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones.
Not King.
No.
Different Stephen.
Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu. The Scarlet Plague by Jack London, Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Caw, and The Confederado, A Tale of Mesoamerican Horror by B.L. Blankenship. I'll tell you up front, I did this the 3 of us each get 5 votes thing, because I was worried if I just said, okay, everybody pick one, we'd end up with ties.
We'd end up with too many ties. I agree with that.
We ended up with a ton of ties anyway.
Oh my god. We're going to have to figure out a way for a tiebreaker, because we don't do ties here.
Okay, well, I'll read them out as is, and then maybe we can figure it out. Okay, so Book of the Year. In 4th place,
okay,
with 1 vote, The Mist by Stephen King.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to the what's below bronze medal Mist.
The crystal medal. I don't know.
You get the crystal medal.
The jade medal.
You get a participation trophy.
In 3rd place, with 2 votes, Firestarter by Stephen King.
Woo!
Woo! Charlie!
I do love Charlie.
And tied for second place with 3 votes each, Phantoms by Dean Koontz and The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones.
Oh boy.
And this one we don't have a tie for first place. The undisputed winner, and for me it was no doubt
Nothing but blackened teeth.
no the Confederado. No. With 6 votes, It by Stephen King.
Yeah, I honestly would have been surprised if anything else got number 1.
Yeah, no, it's the best book we've
I'm
read.
surprised Phantom's tied, I'm going to be honest.
You gave it 3 votes.
Yeah, I didn't think that would make that much of a difference.
And if I remember correctly, I gave The Only Good Indians 2, and you gave The Only Good Indians 1, which gave it 3 to tie with Phantoms.
Okay, so I think we should put The Only Good Indians in second place since 2 of us voted for it.
Okay, and then we'll put Phantoms in 3rd, Firestarter in 4th, and The Mist in 5th place.
That sounds perfect.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So now that we have our tiebreaker system.
Yay! Well, I don't know how we're going to decide when we get to video games or short stories. We'll get there. All right, our second category, new to us books of the year. So these are books that Daniel and I have both read for the first time. There's only 4. The Stand by Stephen King, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Caw, and The Confederado by B.L. Blankenship. And in second place, with 2 votes, we have The Stand by Stephen King. And in first place, with 8 votes, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones.
I accept that.
Book is awesome. If you haven't read it, read it. Parts of it may confuse you, but just keep reading.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
I believe I even told you when we were messaging about it that I was confused, and then I was less confused.
Yes. Okay, film of the year. We have Dog Soldiers, Call Girl of Cthulhu, It 2017, The Mist, Mermaid Scar, Mermaid's Forest, Beast, The Call of Cthulhu, Firestarter, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, Gyo, Firestarter 2022, Firestarter 1984, I already said, It Chapter 2, Pearl, X, and Phantoms.
I can already guess how I messed this list up.
Okay, and actually, out of all of those, between the 3 of us, only 2 movies got any votes.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll spoil it for you. You and I did the exact same thing.
Yeah!
So Hef is the one who threw off the perfect 15. So in second place with 3 votes, The Mist. Sure.
Okay, that's fine.
And then in first place with 12 votes, which should have been 15 votes, the undisputed winner, Call Girl of Cthulhu.
I am buying its Blu-ray. I am going to make it my life's mission to get it signed by as many people involved as possible. We find people that have been involved in the convention circuit. I'm going. I don't care how far I have to drive.
It's the movie that could, and I never would have believed it.
I am still shocked at how much I enjoyed this movie.
It was great. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Regardless if you like Lovecraft or not. Even if you don't like Lovecraft, won't understand any of the references, you will probably still like this movie.
We should post our number 1 winners later to Twitter.
Yes. Yeah, we can do that. TV series or mini-series of the year. So television.
Okay.
In second place, with 2 votes, The Mist 2017.
Were both of those mine?
Yes. And in first place, with 8 votes, It's 1990, the 2-episode miniseries.
I gave The Mist 2017. I don't want to call them pity points. It was more like shocked points.
It was we were both surprised in how much we liked it,
especially because we went in like hearing how bad it was.
Yeah, and I understand why a lot of people say it's bad or think it's bad, and it's not amazing.
I'll also never forget me calling the rapist on episode 1.
Yeah, you definitely did. Okay, short story of the year, tied for first place with 5 points each. The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft and The Mark of the Beast by Rudyard Kipling. And I don't know how we're going to do that. I guess we could play a game of Magic for it.
We will play a game of Legacy.
Okay. We'll let you know who wins.
Pox versus whatever you feel like playing.
I guess Maverick.
Yeah.
All right. Comic of the year. This is the worst one.
Oh, God.
In a 3-way tie for second place. Is it just 3? Yeah, it's just 3.
Okay.
The Marvel adaptation of The Stand. Gyo by Junji Ito. And Gotham by Gaslight, A Tale of the Batman by Brian Augustine. With 2 votes each. Those 3 are...
Do we have at least an undisputed number 1?
We have a 3-way tie for number 1. At number 1, with 3 votes each, Domu by Katsuhiro Otomo, Mermaid Saga by Rumiko Takahashi, and The Enigma of Amagara Fault by Junji Ito. Hey, they're all manga. Actually, I think everything we read is manga except for The Stand and the 2 Batman books. So.
I guess for these 3-way ties, we could put it to a Twitter poll and a Facebook poll.
Yeah, maybe. We might do that.
We got to do something because we already decided we don't do ties here.
Nope. Well, guess what? There's another one. For Game of the Year.
Oh, here's where I fucked up.
Tied for first place with 5 points each. Doki Doki Literature Club and The Cult of the Lamb.
I guess we'll either do another game of Magic or another Twitter poll. Both of those have pretty big fan bases, so maybe we'll actually get people to vote on them.
Maybe. Okay, and those are... So, just to go back over your winnings, the Hori for the Book of the Year goes to It by Stephen King. The Hori to New to Us Book of the Year goes to The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. The Hori for Film of the Year goes to Call Girl of Cthulhu.
By far the most undisputed.
Yes. The Hori for TV or miniseries of the year goes to It 1990. The Horis for short story of the year go to Mark of the Beast by Rudyard Kipling and Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. And the Horis for comics of the year go to The Enigma of Amagara Fault, Mermaid Saga, and Domu. And the Horis for game of the year go to Cult of the Lamb and Doki Doki Literature Club.
We'll do more games this year, so we have to split points more. If we get more guests on, we'll be able to divvy those points up better.
Protagonist of the year, Hef came at us with Charlie. Not Charlie. Was it Andy? Andy. Protagonist of the year, Andy McGee from Firestarter, and you have
Larry Underwood
from The Stand.
If it was on a point system, I probably would have given all 5 points to him. I just related to him so much, and I liked his character that much.
For me, it's just The Losers Club.
So a 3-way tie, so it's best we do shout-outs.
Yeah, we're just doing shout-outs. Okay, for Villain of the Year, Hef has John Rainbird from Firestarter. And
John Rainbird.
John Rainbird. And you and I both have...
Elkhead Woman.
Elkhead Woman.
Not as scary as Bearhead Woman, but still pretty scary.
Well, I think he originally wrote it as Bearhead Woman, and he decided it was too scary and went back and changed it. Because if you in the acknowledgments, it says that it was inspired by a bear hunting experience he had with his uncle.
So we can say Elkhead Woman won that.
Yeah, Elkhead Woman
That's
wins.
2-1.
There you go. Okay, scare of the year for Hef. David Drayton killing his son in the back of the car only to be saved from the Mist film.
That's pretty good.
And then yours?
I feel like I'm the odd one out here, but just the fact that there's an empty town of phantoms, I still have nightmares about. That I'm just in an empty city in West Virginia, wandering around and there's no one there, and it freaks me out every time I have this nightmare.
My scare of the year was trying to decide whether to do an episode on the Confederate or not.
I honestly think that episode came out pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's a lot better than our Nothing But Black and Teeth episode.
I still think we should just scrap that one, and I will do like a stream where I do more concise thoughts. Speaking of things we want to do this year, I've just come to the conclusion I don't like to be super critical. I like to have a good time when I do this.
Yeah, and we were critical about books we like The Stand. We had a lot of critical thoughts on. There were parts of it where we were picking it apart. I mean, like,
yeah,
it's
but
just
we were still having a good time.
Yeah, it's the negativity I don't like,
and I don't like the energy.
Yeah,
I'm going forward with positive energy. This hobby makes me positive, and I like that feeling.
Okay.
Oh, and we got moments of the year.
Yeah, which I didn't ask for, but Hef did anyway.
And then I did it.
Yeah. So Hef's was me being triggered by Jim Gordon being Jack the Ripper in the film adaptation of Gotham by Gaslight.
I had a tie.
And yours?
My moments of the year was Ryan throwing his copy of the Confederado after reading his excerpt on the child being gum raped to death. And Hef leaving the DDL Let's Play for a cigarette. I guess he just couldn't hang in there.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't prepare one of these. Fuck. My moment of the year is Carrie and I girding our loins for you to be an edgelord about the sewer orgy.
only for me to completely agree with you guys.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad, man. Okay, so those are the Hories. I will plan on continuing that tradition next year, maybe adding more categories or fleshing them out a little bit more, or at least having a better voting system next year.
We will have a definitive tiebreaker system for next year.
Yes. This is kind of what we just did. All right.
Yeah, we did our moments of the year.
Yeah, so those are our kings.
What's our Koontzes of the year? Nothing But Black and Teeth review. I don't even think we should release it.
Even though I dislike the Confederado more than Nothing But Black and Teeth, I think the Nothing But Black and Teeth episode is worse.
Yeah,
that's probably also my Koontz of the year.
So there we go.
Yeah, not fun. All right, and then a question for the listeners. We would appreciate any constructive feedback that you have. Our socials are going to be at the end of this episode. If you want to do something more private, our email is thehorrorofbabylonpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us a PM or a DM or a GM or an LM on any of those social things. We accept anything constructive. If you want to trash us too, go ahead. It's interaction. We'll take interaction.
I will take interaction.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Just be prepared for Ryan's quick wit.
Yeah. And then I just want to take a minute to thank a lot of the various people who've been involved with this directly or indirectly. Obviously, huge shout out to our guests, Carrie and Matt. We really enjoyed having you both on the episodes you were on. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Hef, who's basically been like a third co-host on. I was going to count all the episodes he's been on, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And also, he does a weekly Let's Play for us. He has played. Oh shit! Pony Island, Mad Father, Amnesia,
and a little bit of Dread Out.
A little bit of Dread Out. Both Amnesia games. So
I was watching his Dread Out playthrough and I did the whole time thinking, he would be having such a better time if he was playing just Fatal Frame.
Yeah,
that's what the game wants to be, but has like 1/100th of the budget.
Yeah, I never like that was hard to watch. It just seems like it's just a shitty game.
Yeah.
But yeah, huge thanks to Hef. And I also want to shout out to my family, Beck and Emma and Drake, for putting up with me doing this at least once a week, sometimes often more. Granted, I'm doing it late at night, but still, they deal with having to listen to us laugh like jackasses.
How many times have we woken them up?
Yeah, we've woken them up multiple times, and sometimes they have to come down here and get something, and Beck's like, oh God, what am I going to hear when I go down there? So...
what are you watching, Ryan?
Thanks to them.
I love her to death. God, I've known her as long as I've known you, haven't I?
Yep. Thanks to some people I've gotten technical assistance from. Daniel's dad, Rick. Mm-hmm. My friend Alex from Four Horsemen, and also Ron from Four Horsemen. And Ron, thank you for our nice new mic arm that you donated.
Yeah.
That was really sweet.
I'm going to move my comic subscription to the Four Horsemen just because of this.
Yeah. Really appreciate it.
I actually haven't had a comic subscription in years, but now there's some new Superman stuff I want, and since you make trips up there.
Yeah, and you have store credit too.
Yeah, so... I also found more Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Thank you, Daniel, for doing this every week.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone that I want to thank? I've gotten feedback from individual co-workers, and a lot of them are just our active listeners now. Sifu Rob, one of my martial arts instructors, literally listens to this every time it drops.
Nice.
And he's also one of my 4 proofreaders for my book. So
nice.
He's been a super supportive A, teacher for Kung Fu, B, he's super supportive of our podcast, and he loves it. And he also, for some godforsaken reason, likes my book. So
I liked the 2 or 3 chapters I read.
So there we go.
Also, thank you to everybody who follows us on our various socials, and a special thank you to everybody who interacts, comments, likes, shares, all that stuff.
God, honestly, I was going to be happy if we had like 10 followers and the occasional like from somebody. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds super lame to some people, but to us starting from 0 in our mid-30s...
Yeah.
To getting interactions from authors that we literally admire, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I don't think anyone should knock those sorts of W's, and I'm not going to knock those sorts of W's.
And I love just getting... Our socials are not super active.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're kind of active, and we do have regular likes and comments from a handful of people, and I appreciate those people a lot. You know who you are if you're liking and retweeting and doing all those things on a even semi basis. You're one of my favorite people. Thank you to our production assistants Leonard and Sheldon for not being too loud all the time.
Yeah.
Particularly Sheldon.
You'll make cute mascots when I eventually commission that fan art.
Oh, thank you to FlawedPalette, who did our logo.
Oh, God, that logo is so sexy.
Which is probably the best thing about our podcast, is our logo.
Our logo's obscenely... Our logo is too good for how many, followers and stuff.
Yeah, it's too good for us. Also, thank you to the Church of Sound, a.k.a. my brother Bryce, for doing our intro music he made for our podcast.
It's nice.
Yeah, I really like it.
I never skip it.
No, it's cool. Thank you to all the independent artists I have used for our various outro music throughout the year.
Exactly. And thank you to every single author who gives us something to talk about.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephen King. Thank you, Stephen King. Thank you, Dean Koontz. Thank you, Jack London. Thank you, Rudyard Kipling. Thank you, Rumiko Takahashi. Thank you, H.P. Lovecraft. Thank you, J. Sheridan Lefano. Thank you, Stephen Graham Jones. Thank you, Cassandra Kaw. Thank you, B.L. Blankenship. Thank you, Brian Augustin. Thank you, Katsuhiro Otomo. Thank you, Junji Ito.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
Might have gotten it. And thank you, all the authors we will be reading next year, and all our future listeners and our future social media followers. Thank you in advance. And if you're taking the time to listen to this and you haven't followed us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or dropped a sub on our YouTube, why not?
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I think that'll do it. We'll just want to let you know that upcoming next week we're starting season 2 of the Horror of Babylon. We are kicking it off with one of Daniel's favorite authors. What's our first book for season 2?
The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker.
That is going to be the first week of November. That'll drop on Sunday, November 6th. We will do the first movie adaptation, Hellraiser, from 1987 the following week. The next week, 11/20, we will review the novella The Bone Farm by Dean Koontz. And then we will wrap up November with the new film adaptation of Hellraiser, Hellraiser 2022. And then just running through December real quick, we are going to cover Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter by Seth Graham Jones, the film adaptation the next week, and then Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And then the OG film adaptation will be the last episode of the year, which will drop on Sunday, December 25th, aka Xmas. But there will be more Frankenstein coming in July, and then we'll have some other cool stuff coming up after Frankenstein, which you will be hearing about sometime soon on our socials.
Super soonish.
Yes. So I think that's it. Let's not beat a dead horse. It's dead. Let's let it go. Say goodbye to season 1 and hello to season 2.
Hello to the future.
Thank you, everybody, and stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow Daniel at @DStarSick on Twitter. Follow Ryan at Darth Damio on the Bluebird app. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. And finally, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, and the iHeartRadio app.